Hello guys, welcome back to Hair Manager with me Alex, and today another different type of video that I'm going to try and bring you is my top 5 FM26 Wonderkid predictions, and this time we're going to be looking at goalkeepers. So I'm going to do goalkeepers, probably going to do defenders, midfielders, strikers, and I might split them into your centre-backs, your full-backs, your wingers, your centre-mids, your attacking midfielders, and your strikers. I might split it into that, but let's just see where we go from here, because I think what I'm going to try and do is try and get a bit of a database going straight from the off as soon as FM26 comes out. I'm going to try and get straight into the action because it's one of the most anticipated FMs in history because of just how many delays there have been to it. But today, let's just go through what's happened over the last 2 years now since FM24 has come out, and let's just see who I think might be a good, cheap Wonderkid to bring into your side. So, for Wonderkid, like the definition, the pure definition of Wonderkid is essentially someone who's under the age of 21 who is going to be, a world beater in years to come. Now, I've tried to try and base it on 16 to 19, the teenagers. I want teenagers who are going to be between 16 and 19 who are going to be essentially like your wonder kids for this year, because otherwise I think maybe in the goalkeeper's case you could count 20 and 21-year-olds, but for everyone else they should near enough be established. You look at Garnacho, you won't call him a wonder kid because he's been going for the last 2 years. Yamal, you probably call him a wonder kid because he's only 17, 18. You still call him a wonder kid. He's not reached his potential yet. So, there's your example. But for now, goalkeepers today, let's get into the action. So, my first thought for this is Aiden Harris. Now, Aiden Harris is an interesting one. He has played in the Premier League too. He is a Newcastle young goalkeeper. His date of birth, 16th of the 12th, 2006. So that makes him 19. Up until obviously, that makes him 18 up until he then turns 19 in December. So Aiden Harris played 13 games this year, conceded 14 goals in the Premier League 2 with 4 clean sheets. Now, Aiden Harris, he looks pretty good for a goalkeeper. If I just show you his stats on FM24, you can see there a few decent looking stats overall, I won't lie. A few decent ones. You can see like his kickings are pretty good, communication. He's only 6'2". I say only as if it's small, but for a goalkeeper you're expecting like 6'4" would be a landmark, like a really good goalkeeper. So 16 on this game, might have grown since then. I don't have his current height or anything like that because obviously the FM that we know hasn't been updated for 2 years, so we don't have those kind of statistics down somewhere. But if you look at how he's played in, the Premier League 2 this year, he looks pretty decent. And his progression, it's come on a few, since FM24, where he's 16 years of age, it's come on quite a fair bit, where in the Premier League 2, when you want to really establish yourself, I look at Liam Delap, who years ago I made a video on, who is now a Premier League, not star, but someone who's gone to Chelsea. He's going to be like a very, very good striker for years to come. I think Aiden Harris is going to be similar. I think he's going to be similar. He's pretty good at his distribution, which makes him a very modern type of goalkeeper, but I just don't think the diving ability is so much there. If you look at like his stats on here, his one-on-ones are alright, his reflexing is okay, and his agility is alright, but I don't think the actual command of the area, as they like to say on here, his actual ability to claim a ball, the handling itself, passing out from the back, throwing's not too great. So reflexes, he's fast, kicking, he's good at distribution, but apart from that, he's quite limited in it. I've actually tried. What I've done is in my Dortmund save. If you've never seen my Dortmund save, I went on to 2032 and carried on with that save. I've actually got him at 25 years of age, predicted by FM24, and he plays for Huddersfield. Now Huddersfield in this save are in the Championship, but he doesn't look like he's pushed on so much. I thought he might have got a little bit better. He's still 6'2" in the game, physically a little bit decent, but this reminds me of like a top Championship type player, someone who's going to be up and around there. So do I think he'll be like their sort of caliber, that sort of caliber in this new FM? I think he will. I think he'll probably like be a very good goalkeeper to get if you're a Premier League side, like a relegation candidate, but I don't think you're going to push on much more than that, let's be honest. So next one is Joakim Persson. Or Persson, I think it's Persson, Joakim Persson. So he's actually quite an interesting goalkeeper. I've not really got many other sort of attributes to sort of go off, or ideally any stats to go off. He plays for Malmo, and he's actually played a game in the Europa League, played against Galatasaray, where they did draw, I think, 2-2 or 3-2. He did concede 2, oh, it must have been 2-2. Conceded 2, played 90 minutes, looked a decent enough goalkeeper, I won't lie. A few good reflex saves, very commanding in the air, I've got to admit. Only 18 years of age as well, 2007 he was born, which makes me feel really old. But yeah, 18 years of age at the moment, going to be he's going to be 20, he's going to be 19 next year, next February, so really young player. But I think, looking at how he's played for Malmo, I've not really got many stats from the league itself, but he looks pretty strong. In the Europa League game, he conceded 2 in his debut. Now, you can't really go off what we've seen here, 60% save percentage. I think he was pretty decent. Some of the holds, some of the way he commanded the area, clutched the ball from corners, that's not really captured within your saves. But in FM, he's not there. He isn't there in FM, which is annoying. So I've not been able to predict where he might be in the future. But Joakim Persson, I think he looks pretty decent. I think he's going to be a decent buy. I think he's going to be an established wonderkid. I think he'll be a wonderkid in this FM. You've got your obvious ones like your Restezes, your Lunin from Benfica, the Ukrainian goalkeeper. You've got as well as that, there's another fellow, Chevrolet, who plays for Lyon. I think it's Lyon. Can't remember. He's in the French league anyway. But these are like the younger players that you're going to probably be able to get for quite cheap. So Joakim Persson, I think, is a brilliant buy. Next up, Thiago Cardoso. Now we're getting to the serious side of things here. Now the top 3, I think, are genuinely going to be very, very good, goalkeepers to buy, and I think they'll be rated quite highly on FM. Now, if you're looking at like your world beaters, like your Manchester Uniteds, I say that because I'm a United fan, but your world beaters like your Cities, your Arsenals, now your Bayern Munich, so on and so forth. Cardoso, I don't know so much if you would bring him in. You're definitely going to go for your Restezes. That's like your bar for wonder goalkeepers. But Cardoso is a pretty good choice beyond that because he's played 5 games in the Bundesliga this year, 380 minutes, so I think he's come on at some point for an injured goalkeeper. Only conceded 3 goals. Now, I think it might be testament to the defenders in front of him, but 2 clean sheets, a decent amount of 20 saves, which is around 4.76 per game, so it's not like he's not had to just sit there and let the defence in front of him do their thing. He is actively saving Borussia Mönchengladbach in every game, around about 5 saves basically, with an 87% save percentage. So realistically, these are very good stats for a Bundesliga goalkeeper to have, especially from Borussia Mönchengladbach. And then if you look at him in the under-19s youth league, he was actually playing really well in that as well. 12 games, 6 goals conceded, so only half the amount, 0.5 goals conceded per 90. And then clean sheets wise, he had 7. So I think he's a very, very good, goalkeeper. I think if you look at him in FM, he's rated pretty high at the age of 17. I don't think many people would have known much about him. 6'3", decent enough, but 17 years of age. Borussia Mönchengladbach. Does he stay there? He doesn't. He goes to Schalke, and he's their first team goalkeeper at Schalke. Sorry, he's not. I don't think he is, but he's just moved to Schalke, should I say. You can see he's actually been at Burnley, where he had 11 games, and he went to Schalke, and he's played quite a few games for different sides, but he's at Schalke now. I think he'll be their number 1 goalkeeper. You can see there 16 one-on-ones, great aerial reach. He's 6'3", decent physicals in there. His position is really high. I think he's a very good goalkeeper. I think if you're gonna try and establish yourself, you won't be buying them again. Champions League type teams, I don't think you'd be trying to get him in, but definitely Europa League. I think you could cope with a goalkeeper like this. And this is from FM24. Like if we look at the new stats, FM26, he will have a higher potential rating, and I think he's someone who's going to be very strong. He's a great, as it says, distributor there, great at throwing, good at passing. His first touch could be moved on. But in real life, he's an absolute mega shot stopper, as you can see the amount of saves he made in his stats. I think this kid is going to be very, very good, and he's only 19 years of age. So then, next up, we've got Ewen Jaouen, Mr. Vowels himself. 4 vowels. If you had an I in there, he'd have dominated the whole of the vowels in the alphabet. But matches played 14 in the league. Ligue 2, not Ligue 1, Ligue 2. I'm going to Spanish for some weird reason. But he's currently playing in this team with I can't remember the name of it now. It's like Demoncraft. I think it says Depois 1909 there. I think it's something I can't remember the exact name of it now, which is pretty poor. But 14 matches played, 16 goals conceded, 4 clean sheets. So pretty much conceding 1.14 goals a game. 4 clean sheets is decent enough. 29 saves, not as many as previous other candidates, but a save percentage of 66% is decent enough. And at 19 years of age, to establish yourself, have 14 games for a club like this, I think it's pretty good. And he is in FM. He was in there as a youngster. He was 17 years of age, as you can see there with Stade Rennes. He has since then moved to, I think it's Deschamps. I can't remember how it's pronounced, but it's like Deschamps or something. He looks pretty good on here. You can see the one-on-ones are pretty decent. The kicking's all right. First touch, not so much. A classic goalkeeper more so than a sweeper keeper, to be fair. But 6'6". I reckon if someone actually looks at how he's been playing, he's finished 4th in the League 2. I think, to me, he should be able to become a brilliant, relegation side in the Premier League, maybe a mid-table sides in your Ligue 1 sort of player. You can see here, he didn't progress too much. He didn't develop into anything special in FM24. At the age of 26, he plays for FC Martigues, I think it is. But since then, played for Brest 2, 158 caps for them, conceding 109. So that is in the Ligue 2. I think he's going to progress out of the Ligue 2. I think he's the type of player that Jaouen, I think that's how you pronounce it. I think he looks like he could become a lot better player in real life. FM24 maybe didn't predict him too much, but in real life he seems to be pretty good at claiming in the air. You don't see those sort of stats. Pretty commanding in his box. I know it representing here in his aerial reach, but decent command of his box. Not great at your modern day sort of stuff with your passing and with your first touch, but a classic goalkeeper. And sometimes some sides like a Leeds or like, I don't know, your Burnleys. I know that a lot more modern football are trying to develop themselves into building like this team that play wonderful football all the time. But I think those type of sides where they just need someone who's going to be a physical presence in the box and just efficient for the first couple of years, he'd be a great signing for them. So I think we could see plenty more of him in the future. Only 19 years of age. Let's see how he does, how he fares. Then the big one. Now this one, I think this guy is going to be rated really highly, and he's just snuck in at 19 years of age for when FM will transfer over and you'll have the new year and you'll have everything you'll have your build up early pre-season. So matches played 11, minutes played 989, so around about 11. You must have underplayed by 1 minute or something. Goals conceded 8, so 0.73. This is in the Pro League. He played in the oh wow. Where do Anderlecht play? It's escaped my head. Belgian League, the Pro League A. He has only conceded 8, clean sheets 4, so 0.36. A third of his games, just over, he's getting clean sheets. 24 saves, around 2.18. But again, a 78 save percentage is really high. So he played for Genk. He was in the Pro League B. He played for Genk there, and then he got promoted into the Pro League A. So he went from Genk B to Genk. And he had a pretty good run. As you can see here, he had a very, very good run. And if you look at him in FM, so I only have this from the new, it must have been from the January update before I actually, I only started my Dortmund save in October when FM24 first came out, around there. So to me, is it Penders? Yeah, Penders. Mike Penders, I thought it was Lenders then, but Mike Penders, he looks pretty good. So this is his starting stats on FM when you load up FM24 now. This is what he looks like. Pretty average all round, 6'2". So again, a little bit of a smaller goalkeeper, but his stats are so well rounded that at the age of 17, I think if you look at it there, composure, concentration, decisions, anticipation and positioning, your reflexes, your passing's pretty good. He is a modern goalkeeper. Let's just get that straight. He is a more modern goalkeeper. As we look at everyone else that has been on this list, you don't look at the first touch being as good, but Penders definitely has that attribute to really bring it through. And he's so well-rounded, as you can see here, that I think particularly he could become one of the better players for the future. We've seen, I think it's Van der Voort, who's gone to Brighton, who looks unbelievable. He looks really, really good at Brighton. 22, 23 years of age, still young for a goalkeeper. I'd love him at Manchester United. But he came from the Pro League, and he's made an impact at Brighton. I think if you get Penders in at a young age, let him go through a few loans or bring him up through your second team if it's good enough. I think this guy could be the answer to a lot of people's problems that they have when they try and sign the Restez's of the world, where they're so overpriced it's unbelievable. For 1.8 to 3 million, I think in the new year, the FM26, he will be rated really, really high. So that's everything from me. That's all of my picks. That's everyone that I think might, be good on FM this year. Hope you do enjoy this video. If you do, please leave a like, subscribe if you are new. Let me know down below if you think I've missed anybody out. I think I might have missed one or two. There's the fellow who plays for Milan. I can't remember his name. There's also a player that plays for... Oh, I can't remember the name now. It's not Benfica, but he's had a pretty good year in the Conference League. And he looked pretty strong, but he just wasn't. He wasn't, within that age bracket I was looking at. I wanted anyone under the age of 20. So, yeah. But let us know what you think and who you think might be good in FM26. Next up will be fullbacks. I'll be doing fullbacks, centre backs, centre mids, wingers, cam, and then strikers. So let's see what we can do from there. I think for now though, those goalkeepers are a pretty good look, and it'll be good actually just to get a short list of all these players put into one from my predictions and see how right I was. So yeah, anyway, that'll be the future video. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, as ever, please leave a like and subscribe if you are new. I really want to try and hit 300 subscribers by the new year, and thank you guys for watching as ever. From me, Alex, have a great day. Ciao.